Hello, Lego over here. Today we're back on F1 2020, and as you can see by the title, we're debuting for a new league. We're in XRS, which stands for Xbox Racing Series, and we're going to be driving full-time in Tier 2, and we're going to be driving for Alfa Romeo F1 team in this season. And as you can see, the qualifying is wet. We're on the intermediate tire, and we're going to set a couple laps in this session here. Our first lap is our banker, 1 minute 28.3, and now we're going to head on to our final lap. This lap is crucial. We were provisional pole when we set our first lap, but now we're down to third in the position counter. But we're going to head into turn 1, braking just after the 150, using the inside curb to set yourself up for the exit of turn 2, and it's very tricky to get on the traction in the wet conditions, and we have a slight amount of wheel spin, but we keep it all good for the most part. Into the second chicane, we set a purple first sector. Into here, use all of the inside curb. We could have gone a bit better through there, but overall we gained time slightly. Into Lesmo 1, it's so difficult, let alone in the dry conditions, and we're in the wet. Same thing with Lesmo 2. Use all of the exit curb because it's there for you to use, and you will gain time from using it. And now we head down this little straight. Normally you'd have DRS, but not in the wet conditions. Into Ascari. Set yourself up by taking all of the inside curb on all 3 parts of the corner, and we do that very nicely here. And we're 3/10 up on our time. 3.5 now. And we're going to head into the Parabolica for our final lap. It's crucial that we get this right. Braking and then the traction out of Parabolica is so difficult during the wet conditions, but we get it right. 2.5 up. We lose a little bit of time, but we cross the line, and it's provisional pole. But Kirby is on a lap. Will he take pole position here in this qualifying session? Yes, he will. He takes pole position by 0.2 of a second, as you can see the results on screen there. It was a very close qualifying between, well, really the top 4, separated by 3 or 4 tenths, so very close. But as it was a wet qualifying, we're going to start on this medium. So is Kirby in P1, but crucially, Formula 125 in the Mercedes in P3 is going to start on the soft. So he's definitely going to have the advantage at the start of this race. He might even pass us on the start, but we'll have to see as we line up on the grid for our debut race in Monza. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. It's lights out and let's go racing, and Formula 125 has gotten an incredible start on the soft tire. He's already ahead of us. He might be going down the inside of Kirby into turn 1. But we've been hit from behind. We nearly hit Formula 125, but we just about stay on the track. The VSC has been deployed, and that was triggered by all the people behind tangling with each other. You might have seen we got hit from behind, and that was just part of the people behind just making contact with each other, and it ended up triggering the virtual safety car. But we're going to cut on to the end of the virtual safety car. The gap to the top 2 is 0.5, and they're very close together. And Formula 125 is going to go for a move into Ascari, and he's going to get the move done. Kirby has a compromised line. We get a warning, but we have a much better run on Kirby. We're going to move to the outside. Will we have enough overspeed? We do not have enough speed to get the move there. So we're going to have a look down the inside and kind of fake the move to scare him off the racing line. And it works perfectly here. So we get a much better exit. We're going to have the ERS, the fuel mix, and the slipstream to use to get past Kirby. And I don't think he's going to fight this too hard, because there's not much you can do to defend on a straight. But who will be the last of the late breakers? It's actually going to be Kirby, but who will get the better traction? It's going to be crucial to see who comes out ahead. And we get the better traction out of turn 2. And now, Formula 125 is 1.4 seconds ahead. It was very important that we got the move on Kirby done as soon as possible so we could minimize the time loss to Formula 125. I already knew that we were going to lose time to the leader because he was on soft, as we cut onto lap 6. The gap is 3.5 seconds, so that's what I'm talking about when I said we were going to obviously lose time, as he was on the soft tire. But Kirby, we managed to pull a gap to him, 2.5 seconds, and he has a track limit penalty. But from here on out, we really did minimize time loss to Formula 125. We got in a groove with these tires, and we were probably losing, or maintaining the gap actually, to him, which is ideal, really, because he is on the faster tire. As the fastest lap is now a 122.0. In the early stages of this race, I don't think it's very important to go for fastest lap, as we get a 3-second time penalty running out a little bit wide at Lesmo 2, which is not ideal, obviously, but we're going to have to deal with it anyway. We're now headed on to lap 8 of this race. The gap to Formula 125 is 3.8 seconds, and we pulled the gap to Kirby, and we made it 5.4 seconds, and he ended up getting another track limits penalty to add his track limit total to 6 seconds. As the safety car has been deployed, I'm not sure what's happened, but the safety car has been deployed in this race, and now there is a big decision to make here. Do we pit for the hard tire, or do we stay out and stick with our original strategy of moving on to the softs at lap 15? We're going to have the hard tire ready in case we do want to pit, and this is going to be a crucial decision to decide which way our race is going to go. Are we going to pit? No, we stay out. Formula 125 has pitted, and he is going to go on the medium tire, so we are now the lead car in this race, and every single car behind us that's not Formula 125 is also going to pit, and they are going to go onto the hard compound of tire. So this is the point where I really started to doubt my strategy call. I chose to keep track position, but at the cost of not taking that free pit stop. But the reason why I didn't do that is because I just thought the hard tire was just too slow around Monza, and that the soft tire towards the end of the race would give me enough pace to catch back up. As we're now about to restart this race, we're going to take it nice and slow. We're going to warm up the tires, working all 4 tires. We did pretty well to maintain temperature. It's pretty hard to do that under safety car. But we're about to go through the Parabolica, and this is where the race restarts then. Where will we go on full throttle? You'll have to see here. And we go now. Now is when we go. But you're about to see that we've timed it too early, and the safety car limiter kicks in, and we have to lift off throttle completely. So our restart has been terrible. And now Formula 125, he's 1/10 behind. He's going to go for a move around the outside of turn 1. We defend, and he doesn't make the move stick. There's a McLaren ghosted inside of us, but he's a lap car, so it doesn't matter. He's not fighting for the lead. Maybe a bit of a distraction, but it won't be too bad. But still, behind us, Formula 125. We've pulled out 7/10 already, but he's no doubt going to catch up again in this section of corners on his much newer medium compound of tires. You can see pretty much everyone behind the top 2 on hards squabbling for position. You can see on the position counter it's constantly changing. Blue flags now wave for the McLaren to get out of the way. It doesn't look like he's going to do that, so we're just going to try and get past him normally. As we head into Ascari, taking it pretty nicely through this first part, going a bit wide, but the McLaren definitely got it much more worse than we did, and he ends up spinning out of this race instead of just letting us by with the blue flag. So that was definitely interesting, but we move 8/10 now to Formula 125. We nearly pulled out to 9/10, but he's going to gain so much time on the straight, I assume, with the slipstream. No DRS yet, because we just restarted from safety car. DRS only comes back on 2 laps after safety car restart, and 2 laps after the actual race start. But now, through here, Formula 125, he was managing to keep the gap pretty consistent, as we're on lap 14 now, heading on to lap 15. but this is where our tires really started to go off. Lap 15. It's where we planned to pit anyway. We kind of made a fake move into the pits to maybe throw off Formula 125, but it's 2/10 now to Formula 125, and he's going to go for the move. Who will be the last of the late breakers? And it's going to be quite equal, but on the exit we make a little bit of contact and we have to back out of the move. Overall, it's not like anyone got damaged, so luckily no one got damaged, so overall we kept it clean, and it's just a little bit of a racing incident. As we cut on to the end of lap 15, Formula 125 getting past us was kind of the wake-up call to us saying, hey, you need to get off these old tires. We need the soft tires now before it's too late to gain any time. So we're in the pit lane now, and this is why I was doubtful about this strategy, and it's because look at the position counter. We're going to drop down all the way to P10, 2.6 second pit stop from the pit crew there, all the way down in P10. So track position completely lost. We were all the way up in P2. So hopefully with the soft tire advantage we can catch up to the hard runners very quickly and gain a few positions in this race as we head through the first chicane. The plan is, well, we have to, it's not the plan, we have to make 0 mistakes in this race now. Absolute 0, or else we won't be able to get back to where we were in P2. Into the second chicane on our outlap. I assume we're going to set 2 purple sectors, as we're probably the fastest car on track with the new soft tires. So we head out of Lesmo 1 into Lesmo 2. We take it pretty nicely. The grip compared to the old mediums is night and day difference as we head down this straight, about to finish sector 2, and it is purple in fact, so we are the fastest car on track at the moment. We take Ascari pretty nicely, could have been a little bit better, but overall pretty good. And you can see the gap to the Racing Point in P9. You might not have remembered, but on the outlap, as we came out of the pits, the gap was 9.9 seconds, and now the gap is 6.6 seconds. So we've gained over 3 seconds on our outlap, and this is what I was talking about when I said the pace advantage was so different from the soft to the hards. We're going to be gaining probably around 2 seconds per lap on these softs, and we're going to gain the track position, hopefully. And I believe this is the lap where we set a fastest lap as we go into the second chicane. It's the purple first sector going through here, but we make a mistake and we end up cutting the corner and getting another penalty. So now, to make our race even more difficult, we've given ourselves another 3-second time penalty for track limits. So now 6 seconds in total, and it's definitely going to be hard to make up positions here. But we cut on to the end of that lap. We do set the fastest lap, but we skip through it because we end up going faster anyway. We've now caught up so much that the gap is just 3.0 to P7 ahead now, because a couple people made pit stops. And the pace advantage is just so much, as I said earlier. 2.3 seconds now. We've gained over a second in just one chicane, in one sector. And we're going to go through the second chicane. The gap is 2.0, heading through Lesmo 1. What will the gap be? It's 1.9, 1.7, 1.6, 1.5 seconds. We're nearly in the DRS zone of the Racing Point ahead of us. And the pace is just, we have such an advantage at this stage. Purple sector 1. We set a red sector 2, but we're mainly focusing on just getting in the DRS on this lap. And you can see he's trying to break the slipstream, but we managed to stay inside there. Heading into the Parabolica, it's always tricky when following another car because of the dirty air, but because of our grip advantage on these tires, it's no issue whatsoever. And now down the straight, we're going to have the DRS, the slipstream, the battery power, and the fuel mix, and he's going to go defensive, but we come alongside and we get the move done before the braking zone even. So nice move done pretty quickly so we don't lose too much time to the guys ahead. Speaking of the guys ahead, P6 is our teammate, Jazzyman25, who actually started P15 in this race because he ended up making a mistake in qualifying. So he's driving a great race there so far, all the way up from P15 to P6. As we set a purple sector now, heading through Lesmo 1, we take it pretty nicely using all of the track on the exit. Lesmo 2, we do the same, probably could have used a little bit more track, but it's pretty good regardless. Heading down the straight, you can see our teammate in the distance now, because that's how much time we are gaining. Green sector 2, we set up a Scari perfectly and we take it absolutely beautifully there. And we're going to head down this straight into the Parabolica. The gap is just going down faster and faster, 3.7 seconds. Braking for the Parabolica now, and getting full throttle as soon as possible, using the rich mix and the overtake all the way up to the line. And what is the lap going to be? It is going to be the fastest lap by another 1/10 of a second to what we did previously. Pretty good if you ask me. Into turn 1, you can see them now. They look so close, but the gap is still 2.8 seconds now. We gained nearly a second through just that chicane, as our fastest lap gets beaten by 1/100th of a second, which is unfortunate, so we might have to go for another one. But we won't be able to go for another one because the safety car has gone out once again. Someone's retired from the session and it's triggered the safety car in this race, and this has just saved us in this race. It saved us so much hard work of trying to catch back up, because now the safety car is out and the whole field is gonna bunch up back together and we will have the advantage once again. And now we've caught up to everyone who we were trying to catch earlier in this race. Not even half a second then, because of the safety car. As we cut onto the end of this lap, and you're about to see that everyone ahead of us decides to pit for the soft tire to get that tire advantage, but at the cost of track position, and that includes Formula 125. So at this stage, we don't know how this race is going to turn out, because now everyone's elected to go onto the soft tire, and these are new soft tires. Our tires are about 6 or 7 laps old, so they're going to have the pace advantage over us, but not as much as the first safety car, because on that safety car we had 11 lap old mediums. So it's not as bad of a situation as it was before, but it's still going to be difficult to stay ahead as we head to the end of this safety car period. The safety car is in at the end of this lap, and we're going to take our time, nice and easy, working all 4 tires to keep temperature. We're going to make sure we don't make the same mistake we did on the first safety car restart, where we went too early. So we're going to let the safety car go off into the distance. Once again, as I said earlier, we're working all 4 tires. Brakes are a bit cold, but they go up to temperature quite quickly through the Parabolica. When are we going to restart this race? And we go full throttle now. Now is when we restart. Prepare to resume racing, no overtaking, but green flags wave now as we head into turn 1. The gap to Formula 125 is 4/10, so we've definitely caught him napping on this restart there, which is definitely ideal for our race. And at this stage, someone cuts the corner. They just go through the escape road massively. That's the Haas, and he's going to have to give back that position then, as we head into the second chicane here. The main focus is not P1, because at this stage I've realized that with 6 seconds of time penalties, P1 is not possible in this race. So we're aiming instead for P2, because you can see on the position counter that P3, 4, and 5 all have penalties. And what I need to do here is pull 3 seconds to P4, and I will get P2 in this race. And that is because P3, Brian is GEK in the Haas. He has 6 seconds of penalties, so we don't have to pull out a gap to him at all. But P4, Zach S85, he only has 3 seconds of penalties. So if he finishes within 3 seconds of us. He will get P2 in this race. And then Chazzy Man, P5 now. Great race from him so far. As Formula 125 has a look around the outside of us here. And we managed to defend it just about. As our teammates fighting for P4, which is perfect for us. Because they're both going to lose time from that. And we can secure P2 more easily. Lap 26 now. 2 laps to go into the second chicane. We're going to try and push as hard as possible. The gap is 2.5 seconds to Zach S85 and 3.8 seconds to our teammate in P5. So now 4.8 seconds, so surely he's battling someone. So the main focus is just to try and pull a gap to Zach S85, and that is going to be very difficult in the closing stages of this race here. Formula 125, 3/10 now is the gap to him behind us, and he might go for a move into Parabolica. No, he doesn't, but he's going to go for a move down the main straight. We're not going to use any battery, as we don't have much battery at all. We're going to use Rich Mix, but we're trying not to lose too much time, as we will, if we let him go, we will get his DRS and his slipstream. But Brian GEK has a look down our inside, and we had to compromise our line massively through turn 2. So we lost so much time, and Zach S85 is 1.8 seconds behind us going into the second chicane. We're still within the DRS zone of Formula 125, and it's crucial that we stay there to defend from the Haas behind us in P3 and try and pull out a gap as much as possible to Zach S85 in P4, because at the moment, this second place is up for grabs. It's anyone's P2 in this race here, and we're going to try and get it on our debut. Zach S85 is going to try and get it on his debut, but who will get it as we're heading through Ascari for the final time here? We still have the slipstream effect from Formula 125, and this is going to be a very close finish here. 4/10 is the gap to Brian is GEK. 2.6 seconds is the gap to Zach S85. We exit Parabolica for the final time here. The checkered flag is waving. We're going to cross the line, and where are we going to finish? It's P2 by 1/10 of a second. That was the closest race I have ever been a part of, and it was one of the most fun races as well. We claim P2 on our debut race, which is amazing. Chazzy Man, driver of the day, drove an amazing race from P15 to P5. As we head onto the podium now, Formula 125 takes the victory. Great stuff from him, not getting a single penalty in this race. We take P2 on our debut, and Zach S85 in the McLaren takes P3 on his debut. So 2 debut drivers on the podium, which is great to see, and Formula 125 claiming the win. Great drive from all 3 of us in this race. Here are the race results then. You can see them right here. You can see where everybody finished. Everyone from P14 down ended up DNFing. But guys, that is going to be the end of this video. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're racing at Monaco next week, so make sure to stay tuned for that. I post F1 content multiple times per week if that's something you're interested in. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.